the beauty of Chung, which is an emotional sentiment innate in Korean culture. I talk a lot about it in my work, but I want to say an heartwarming experience of feeling connected, a kinship, affection and kinship, and I felt it today. Buying some koguma. We bought some sweet potatoes today from the halmoni right outside our apartment complex that we see every day, and it was particularly hard to see her in the heat in the summertime. She's about it, I'm thinking in her 80s, mid 80s. But why I want to talk about her is I never have experienced this before. I had a K-drama moment, if you've seen Reply 1988, Tuxin's father would just buy stuff from people off the street, you know, like a peddler on the street, or being like, oh, I felt sorry for this woman, so I bought a bunch of encyclopedias. You know what I mean? And then he would get in trouble by Tuxin's mom because they didn't have the money, but he would spend all that money and be like, oh, I didn't bring any money home because I bought these books that you may want. And she's like, I don't need these books. That's kind of how I'm becoming, which isn't like me. And, you know, busy in the States, I went to school in New York, and living in DC, you just kind of walk by. It's very different in Korea. They actually very much engage with you. And she's selling kokuma, which are delicious. This is the orange inside, but during the winter it was white. And they're very cream kokuma. By the way, I put these in the air fryer. Delicious. This is the color, the original color. We eat these as snacks. She was so grateful. We made eye contact as we crossed the street, and she saw us, and she's like, she recognizes us. Hello, we live here. And I love that. Even when I don't buy anything, she like still says, "Annyeonghaseyo," but you feel a little guilty when you walk by. In the summer, I wasn't craving kokuma. It's getting a little cooler, so I want it. But in the dead of summer, it's like 100 plus degrees, and she's out there working, sitting there, selling her produce. And it just made me think, geez, the chung is powerful. You feel so good buying kokuma, sweet potatoes, for, I don't know, $7, a big bundle. And then she's so grateful, you know, bowing 5-6 times, 감사합니다, like, you know, and and she noticed that we had gone grocery shopping. She's like, so you went grocery shopping, but then you still stopped by to get some kokuma. And like, we hadn't bought from her in months. Like, I've seen her throughout the whole summer, but just didn't want to buy any. And I just felt a certain way. It's the chung. It's actually very good for your mental health to feel what I felt buying sweet potatoes. And having a Tuxin's dad moment in Reply 1988. And so I'm reminded as I'm eating this, how you do see a lot of people in the aging population working like that, in the sun, in the heat. They're in their 80s, and you wish they didn't have to do that. It's, with Korea's birth rate, though I hear that it rose a little bit, it's still concerning. And I'm a Gen Xer, so in my 50s, I feel like I'm in my 30s, so I have to remind myself I'm in my 50s, that I see that a lot more, and I'm observing it as I get older myself. I don't want to say age. As I get older, I'm seeing things and appreciating that about my culture that I didn't see when I was younger. Because when you're younger, you don't necessarily see all that. My world has become very macro. And then I have Gen Z kids, so I understand that mentality too. But my whole point is the power of intergenerationality, which is the interactions between different generations, is pretty powerful for your mental health. That's why I study intergenerational mental health. It's very important to understand how we approach mental health, how we approach life. Our perspective in all generations is different. Gen Zs, well, now there's Gen Alpha, but Gen Zs and millennials, Gen Xers, me, baby boomers, aging population, we all have a very different perspective on life. And actually, if you understand the the stage of different cycles of development, based on psychology, it's evidence-based, and I totally see it. We have different needs and different wants, and I guess different legacies that we want to live. Compared if you're in midlife, still I'm in midlife, to baby boomer, to millennials, Gen Zs, and aging population. So you see this older halmoni bowing, and maybe the age of my halmoni would have been if she was alive. My halmoni would have been maybe a little older, but just, bowing profusely, thanking us profusely. So grateful we bought sweet potatoes, and, eating it more is all the more special. You know what I mean? And just a reminder of appreciating, I guess, the older generation. Decades ago, I wouldn't have said that. But that's how I was decades ago, how we are when we're younger. We don't see outside ourselves, you know? But the older you get, you start looking at things going, wow, how beautiful that is. To feel the tongue of how happy she was that we bought something from her, knowing we had gone grocery shopping. She kept saying, we want grocery shopping, but you're still going to buy me, you're going to still buy my sweet potatoes? Yeah. And so that is the beauty of Korean culture and being here and being able to walk and see these neighborhood ladies and people getting recognized. And they're like, oh, today you're wearing this. Oh, I really liked what you wore there. I mean, it's just so nice, you know? It's what you see in the K-dramas. That was my K-drama moment. I was like, I've become Tuksun's dad. I feel guilty not buying something. And today I did, and I feel so good, you know? Just little things in life. They do make a difference to your well-being.